What is right or wrong? I don't know who to believe in. My soul sings a different song in America. Today on my own podcast, we break down In America. Hello, my friend. We meet again. Welcome to my own podcast, the only Creed podcast that we know of. My name is Andrew Colin, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Reid Fenlaw. What's up, Reid?
Howdy, partner.
I like that.
Yeah.
Are you going to come up with a new one every time?
Maybe.
I like that.
That's a little slice of Americana for you.
Coming up with new ways to say hello?
No, just howdy, partner. Like,
Oh, that makes more sense.
Old West of America.
Well, like we established last time, we are in the west of America.
Nope. Oh, yeah, we are. Sorry.
Yeah,
We're in California.
Yeah.
Fuck, I forget sometimes, dude. I just forget.
Well, you have lived all over, kind of.
I've lived all over in America.
You're really like alluding to the song quickly today.
Yeah. I'm laying on thick.
Have you ever lived east of the, north of the Mason-Dixon line? East of the Texas?
East of
I
spent one summer, I worked for 4 months as a cabana boy at a resort in Florida.
Florida, yeah. That doesn't count. What is the threshold for like living somewhere? Like when people are like spent a semester in France, or like I lived in Paris. Is that appropriate or?
I'm going to actually say it's not the amount of time. I'm going to say it's the intent. Were you moving there to like live and make a life? Or was it like, did it have an expiration date? Like mine was this resort, massive resort, just crewed up every summer. Like added like 50 additional college kids. But I always had an out date.
Yeah, but I guess you always have an out date with something.
With life.
Yeah, but I don't know if you'd always move somewhere and be like without the option of ever going somewhere else.
Well, like when I moved to LA, I was like, I'm moving to LA.
But what if, like, I don't know, you had the plans of moving to LA, starting a career, and then, you know, God forbid, you lost all your money in a Ponzi scheme and had to move back immediately, and you're only there for 2 weeks. Yeah. Did you live in LA?
No.
See, it's
a combination. It's a combination.
I always thought it was like 1 year's time is living.
Okay, I like that.
So I've really only lived in 2 places, I guess.
As far as the Mason-Dixon, Mason-Dixon line, yes, I lived north of it.
Isn't that the dividing of the Yankees in the South?
Yeah. I don't know I don't know if Denver is.
I don't know where that is in relation to it. Yeah, neither do I.
I mean, I don't think Colorado was at a state where the Mason-Dixon line was established. You meant west of the Mississippi.
Yes, I meant that.
East of Mississippi.
Yes, because you definitely have lived west of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. Hello.
Good stuff.
Man, are you ready to talk about this song?
Yeah. I mean, I suppose we can get right into it. If you just want to lose all the, like, don't want to take me to dinner first.
Hey, man, I'll wine you and dine you.
Okay, wine me.
But we're not 69ing.
That's fair.
Yet. Why? Is there something else you wanted to? Do you want to get anything off your chest?
But no, things are chill. Nothing too new. Just listened to today's song a bunch today. Read the lyrics. Tried to get a sense for what it is a little better than I have in the past. Because in the other episode, when I think you did all the research and I came in blind, I just really couldn't formulate my thoughts well on the lyrics when I was like being quizzed on them. And then today I was like, maybe I'll do a little bit of homework so that I can speak more intelligently.
I'd love to talk to you today.
Okay, let's talk.
I'd really love to just not be the only one talking.
For sure. I talk.
I know.
I talk.
I know.
I say things.
I talk to myself all day, and I like that I get to talk to you now.
What are you doing all day that you're talking to yourself, you weirdo?
Just thinking about cordovial business vectors and segmented markets.
What's cordovial mean?
It's like a post-postulate triarv for like economic dimensions.
You're just making stuff up.
No, look it up.
I can't. You're the one with the computer.
It's America, bro. Look it up.
Well, speaking of, it is America. We do live in the United States. For all those listeners out there that also probably live in the United States, shout out to any international listeners. That'd be tight.
Yeah, howdy.
Comment where you're from and your favorite hat.
or if you're like driving, listening to this, just yell out where you're from. Roll down your window, get the attention of your neighbor in traffic, and tell them where you're from.
Yeah.
With no context. Just say like Pittsburgh.
Brazil.
Mm-hmm. St. Lucie, New Hampshire. Yeah.
Montrose.
Montrose?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that's a good welcome because the song is in America.
Yep.
You want everyone in America to feel great. And everyone, if you're listening somewhere else, to feel great.
For sure. Probably English-speaking countries, I imagine.
Yeah. Any country with the chilies, I'm on board with, because that's a sign that you're doing things right.
You're at least making good cuisine.
Yeah.
Have options.
You've at least got Michelin restaurants in your... Excuse me? Did you just give me a...
Yeah.
He just gave me a bad face.
I just don't know that Chili's has a Michelin star.
They do in my book.
That's fair. It is yummy.
It is yummy. Okay. Can we... Let's get in.
Let's do it. Let's dive in.
Man. In America, track number 5...
Good fact.
My Own Prison.
Yes.
Written by Scott and Mark, as a lot of them are.
I think all of them have been pretty much, except for Torn was only Mark.
Yep.
And
there is virtually none fact or facts out there about this song.
Did you do enough homework?
I did.
Okay.
I dove. Also, it's a tough song to like look up because if you... The band name combined with the phrase "in America" is in like a lot of other pieces of literature.
Or like you get the Creed movie, like release dates in the United States or something.
But I did my best. There's not a lot. I do have some. Let's see. I want to start with. Actually, no. I'm gonna leave them all. I'm gonna leave them all till the end.
The factoids that you did find?
Yep.
Okay.
Because they all kind of shade. I don't want them to influence your interpretation of the song.
Cool.
Okay.
I love it.
So those general there wasn't even like press, nothing official from the band. The only thing I found from the band was in Scott's memoir, Sinner's Creed.
Yes.
I did find a little bit. Actually, I'll read that one first.
Lay it on me, big boy.
Here's what Scott says about this song from his autobiography. He says, I was dealing with, quote, the struggle between the false faith of my childhood and my new journey towards faith, and that my conflicted feelings came out in a different form within America, where I made more of a social observation. I wrote about America being a place where we kill the unborn, but also a place where we stamp our dollar in God we trust.
Those are both lyrics in the song.
Exactly. It's like I mentioned to you before we started recording, I did find something from Scott, and it's basically just saying, here's a couple of lyrics from the song.
The only like potential information, I guess, there is that because he's referencing those two lines as being like contradictory, I'm wondering how that would affect my interpretation of those two lines as it is. But I mean, we'll get into it, yeah.
Yeah, probably he's thinking God doesn't like abortion, so it's ironic. Yeah. But who knows if God does or not?
Yeah.
There were multiple human sacrifices ordered by God.
Abraham.
Yeah. Isaac.
Yep. But that didn't end up happening. But
no, yeah. But what a fucked up thing to do.
What? It's testing his faith.
Kill your son, and then right before you do, it's like, hey man,
I'm just playing.
Just testing you. We're good, right? We're good. We're good.
Yeah, Abraham was kind of loco.
Yeah. Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had Father Abraham. You know that song?
Mm-mm.
Well, okay, never mind. All right, let's just dive in. Then we'll come back to the other facts later.
Okay. Well, one of the things I like to ask before we dive into a song is just quickly, like, do you have any preconceived feelings on this song?
Honestly, no, because this is a little bit of a forgotten track for me on this album.
Yeah,
it's not one that I used to like seek out to specifically listen to.
Right, or stick out in your brain in any way.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have anything that I associate it with.
Except the red, white, and blue.
Except the U.S. of A.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? Because we know you are a little bit of a anti-American. So what does this mean to you?
Just gonna throw that out there. No, I don't think that's necessarily true about me as a person. But yeah, I agree. I don't have any strong associations with this song. But I feel like I just like remember it being on the album, but I don't have any like particularly standout feelings about it. Like I remember it just feels like a very different title than the rest of the songs. This one and Pity for a Dime, weirdly enough, which are back to back, feel like kind of the odd things out of the album where like they're referencing very clear things like United States or like Pity for a Dime, like a analogy to currency, whereas the rest of them are a little more vague.
Yep.
So that's the only thing I think about it before we got into the song today. But otherwise, no, I don't have memories of me being like, oh, rocking out to In America on the 4th of July. That was the best day of my life.
I wish, dude, this 4th of July, we're going to do it.
Okay.
Great. We'll see you then.
Cool.
And here we go.
Let's do it.
Only in America, we're slaves to be free. Only in America, we kill the unborn to make ends meet. Do you want to stop there? Or you want me to go through the whole first verse?
Yeah, I think for this verse, we can go line by line because each one is just fucking packed, I feel like.
Great.
Not necessarily with like, I don't know, just like they all are very heavy, I feel like.
Great. Okay. Well, let's cut. Only in America, we're slaves to be free.
Yeah, I mean, I think this could be interpreted in a few ways depending on how you think about the rest of the song, but just like on initial impressions, like I just don't know if there's some allusion to America's shitty, shameful history where, you know, there was enslavement and then eventually the freeing of those slaves. Or if there's some sort of, I don't know, that we're a slave to, like we as a people now are a slave to something else, whether that's the way of life that we're forced to live in the United States. I don't know, but clearly this is about the United States. So there could be very well like real things that were being alluded to, or it could be more metaphorical.
Okay. Well, I will tell you, because there's no facts on this song other than what you've already heard, there's no wrong answers.
Okay.
So, I mean, unless you disagree with me, then of course you're wrong and I'm correct.
Right. That's how naturally.
Because my mommy says I'm a big boy and a smart boy.
Thank you, mommy. You set that one up.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
Okay.
Okay. So I hadn't thought about that line potentially referencing like actual slavery.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I assumed that he was talking about like that's referencing the rat race in America, and that we're slaves who are just cranking 9 to 5, most people, trying to like buy freedom later down the line, like via retirement.
Yeah.
That's how I interpret it.
So that's the right way.
Yeah, that's the right way.
I kind of lean more toward that just because I think he doesn't really have any other comment on it if it were like the literal slavery. So that's kind of why I'm not like thinking that he's trying to say anything with regard to that other than like maybe in that way, because the song is sort of a critique of the United States, I think, in a way. So either way, he's critiquing the United States.
Yeah, as you often do.
Yeah, anti-American.
So my question for you is, why, Andrew, are you anti-American, and who radicalized you?
I think my mommy radicalized me when she
and we'll
told
move
me
on to the next lyric.
about what's actually in a hot dog. It'll kill you.
It's mechanically separated meats.
It's think.
Yeah, think, guys. We gotta think. So I love hot dogs. They're yummy.
They're very good.
Only in America we kill the unborn to make ends meet.
Just like another really heavy thing. I think this is clearly about abortion.
What?
Just with referencing killing the unborn. And to make ends meet feels weird. Like, if you take the phrase making ends meet, making money to get by. So I'm not sure if he's saying that and only in this country would we, kill the unborn, which, may be a more conservative view of abortion, in order to have monetary gain, which doesn't really connect in my mind. But obviously, Scott's a man of faith, so I maybe he's opposed to it. Maybe it's referencing something else. I'm not sure, but I think he is sort of critiquing the fact that maybe in his worldview, possibly people are too liberal with abortion.
Yeah, I mean, definitely referencing abortion. I actually thought because, and I hadn't. Mine doesn't make as much sense now because I kind of was looking at this in a vacuum and not with Scott's conservatism in mind.
Is he I guess I don't know about his politics, and I don't want to judge him if we disagree on things, but I'm just trying to see. Yeah, I don't know what he would have thought, or if that's what he thinks, or maybe it's more vague.
Yeah, and I'll say this song, it does deal with some heavy shit. If people think otherwise on certain issues, I don't really care.
Right.
That I don't that doesn't make you who you are. We are simply trying to decode Scott.
Yes.
So I actually looked at it because the line is kill the unborn to make ends meet, that it was less a judgment on abortion, but getting that in there of no. But less a judgment on abortion and more judgment on capitalism. And that a lot of people are getting abortions because they can't afford to feed their kid. They can't afford to feed another kid or their first kid.
That makes more sense, I think.
And it kind of jives with the slaves to, maybe that's why I thought this, because it jives with these slaves to the economic machine that is America of you're stuck in this cycle. And yeah, people are...
Because of the situations that they're born into, you have to make these decisions that might feel wrong just in order to sustain themselves or their family.
Because typically when someone ends a sentence with I had to do X to make ends meet, it means they didn't really necessarily want to do the thing they did. It meant that they were kind of backed into a corner.
Right.
So that's why I interpreted it that way, because of the to make ends meet line.
Yeah, I do like that more, and I do think it's less of a statement about people should not get abortions or something, and more about look that we're forced to do. In the instance where someone maybe doesn't want a child for financial reasons, it's a shitty thing to have to make a decision off of.
Yeah, only in America, sexuality is democracy.
Yeah, so this line always really stuck out to me because he feel he screams it pretty, and it lingers. I don't know. I had a few my initial interpretation of it, which could be partly my own thoughts on the subject, is the fact that especially at this time, probably in the 90s, the fact that gay marriage is a political issue is whereas it should be a private issue and not something that's governed by the country. It's weird that sexuality or your own sexuality is a part of a political agenda when it's something so personal and only matters to you and those you want to share it with. So that was my thought. And I don't know if that's what he's saying, but I was I kind of like that line because it's why is this something that's, so why is this something that should be able to be governed?
I would like to say on this, I like your interpretation more than mine.
Okay.
I had not thought about it like that. Yours is pretty simple, and just that sexuality and democracy are just intertwined, and they don't need to be.
Exactly.
Why? Why the hell are they? Interesting. I dig that. My note on that was sex rules, baby. Americans will sell out their democratic principles for a pretty person.
Yeah, I had that too as another interpretation. Is it saying sex sells and equates to power in some ways?
That's how I saw it. It was just, I think because to me, but I get this broad stroke I'm about to say would cover either of our interpretations of it, is he's just slowly painting a picture of like a dysfunctional kind of increasingly
Society.
fucked up society.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I like yours though. The intertwining. Only in America we stamp our dollar. In God we trust.
Well, the first thing I want to say about this line is if I hadn't read it, I'd have no idea that's what he says. Because it's like, only in America.
He goes, "Mr. Dollar, Mr. Dollar."
Like, are you sure that's what you're really saying? This one I think was a little harder for me. I just think he was just kind of alluding to the fact that like religion is tied to our government and it's like politicized in that way. Where it's like they, should be separate functions of our society. Like there should be religion that people can worship how they want in whatever respective religion they want to believe in. And there should be governance, which is not tied to that at all. Or I guess he could have also been saying something like, because he's like a man of faith, like, is it somehow dishonorable to God that we put his name or her name on our currency of this shitty society?
That's how I took it. It's
the latter.
like, it's ironic that we have all these. We're living in a very secular society, but we have "In God We Trust." Like they were handing to people every day little notes that say "In God We Trust" on it, and most people aren't living like that.
That actually probably makes more sense.
Yeah, I'm pretty smart.
Yeah. You're a smart guy.
Can I tell you something about this though? He is incorrect in that only in America do we stamp our dollar "In God We Trust."
Yeah, I feel like that's on the British pound or something.
Well, there's a bunch of countries that have phrases that are like "God save the Queen," God but that exact phrase,
or "God is dope."
Yeah, God is dope. That's actually Portugal's saying.
I like that one. Mm-hmm.
And then Belize is "dope is God."
Right, because the conjunctioning of verbs is different. Yep.
Yeah.
Just go on.
Nicaragua has "En Dios confiamos" on most of their coins,
In God
which
we trust.
in Spanish is "In God We Trust."
Scott, do some research, dog.
Come on, bro.
Come on. I know the internet wasn't like wasn't as available at the time, but come on.
Yeah, dude.
Go to a bookstore.
Yeah. Ask
Go to
somebody.
a library.
Ask somebody.
Yeah. Well, ask one of your Nicaraguan fans.
Yeah. And ask an Israeli fan, because Israel's Shah's party proposed a bill that would have placed the phrase on all their banknotes, but it died in the Israeli, what is their legislature, essentially.
When was that?
I don't know.
Okay.
But it happened.
So it could have been on the shekel?
It could have. It could have been. So just some fun facts.
Come on, Scott.
It's not only in America that we stamp our dollar "In God We Trust."
Scott, come on.
You ready to move to the core?
Let's do the core.
The course?
Yeah.
Why? I don't want me calling it the core?
Yeah, it was cool.
Okay. This repeats twice, but I'm only going to read it just once.
That makes sense, yeah.
What is right or wrong? I don't know who to believe in. My soul sings a different song in America.
Yeah, this is where the lyrics get a little more abstract, I think. But I think that it alludes to the first two lines is like there's all these competing ideas and competing ways that people are living. Like, what's the right way? I don't know. How does God want me to live? I don't know. What I wrote as a note is like that, yeah, there are so many competing ideas, beliefs on how to govern our country, but you can't really distinguish who's right.
Yep, I think you're correct.
Okay.
I have a very succinct note. My note says, Scott is confused and America is fucked.
I like that.
But like, that's just drilling a higher level version of what you're saying.
Right.
Essentially. So I think we're in agreement on the chorus, even though it's a little more abstract. He's doesn't know what to think, what to believe in. It's a time of confusion.
Well, what about the line, my soul sings a different song in America? Did we get there yet?
I mean, yeah, I think we're talking about those four lines. So what is right or wrong? I don't know who to believe in. My soul sings a different song in America. I think that is just saying that, like, deep down, he knows something's off. He knows, like, the way people are living, the way he's being told to live maybe isn't right.
Mm-hmm. Because he lives in America?
No, I think he's saying, what? I think he's saying, in general, in America, people aren't living right. Like, people are on the wrong path, and his soul maybe thinks differently. But he doesn't.
Okay.
But he doesn't know what yet.
Okay, so what you're saying is that his soul sings a different song than those other souls in America.
Correct.
But I was thinking that his soul sings a different song when it's in America than when it's in Nicaragua.
Oh, you think he's like, when they were on like international tours, his soul was just singing different music?
Well, they weren't on international tours yet, but I'm just saying, I think he's saying like the nature of him living in the United States causes his soul to sing a different song.
Okay.
Versus if he was in another nation where maybe it was more faith-based, I don't know, it would sing a different song.
So, okay. So then for you, this line maybe shades a little bit into he's being influenced by his environment.
Yeah.
Like that partially shapes our behavior.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
It's part of the machine. Feeling a part of the machine a little bit. Okay.
Not Rage Against the Machine, but like...
I dig that. But part of the machine.
Yeah. That's my other favorite band, Part of the Machine.
Yeah, you are part of the machine.
Thanks.
I have another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, why are you such a communist, and when did you decide to subvert American democracy?
Yeah, I think back to my 12th birthday when my mommy made hot dogs for everybody.
Motherfucker.
And she made enough for everybody, but then she told me about the repercussions it would have on my health, and I thought, how is this the national food of our country? I'm gonna implement Chinese governmental governance.
Yeah, you began reading the Chinese government's handbook that summer. You hid it under your mattress.
Mm-hmm.
Most kids were wanking to porn, and you were wanking to the Chinese governmental handbook.
Hey, why does me being into something mean I have to be wanking to it?
That's what I do, and I'm into stuff.
So you like get like really into pottery, you start jerking off to pottery? Can't you just do pottery?
No. I can do it though.
You're a sick fuck.
Like, just your hands in that wet clay.
It's not
molding it into whatever you want it to be. Shaping it and running through your fingers.
church bells ringing. Pass the plate around.
Wait, I read these.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Verse 2.
Thank you.
You commie. Church bells ringing. Pass the plate around. The choir is singing as their leader falls to the ground.
So the first part, there's an allusion to a collection plate being passed around. I can't remember what it's called.
We just called it the offering plate, but
What's
it's a
the word?
tithe. That's what a lot of churches call
Oh,
it.
I never heard that.
Collection plate.
Yeah, I just heard collection plate, but I thought there's like a word for it, like pay something.
Oh, the oversized money ramekin.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's just like used to fund the church, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Or the priests pocket it, and
Just
then they go to the casino.
Yeah, more taxi-free money for the priests, baby.
The choir is singing as their leader falls to the ground. I don't know. Church choir singing, I got that. I don't know. The leader is like the pastor or the priest or whatever the leader of that specific sect of Christianity is. And he maybe slipped on a banana peel and fell. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's you. Clearly, you grew up in Pentecostal churches.
What's Pentecostal mean?
Well, that's okay. Pentecostal's like it's more of like the hands in the air. You can like dance in the aisles. And like
that sounds fun.
people can like roll around on the ground.
Is that encouraged?
Some churches, yeah.
Sick.
If you feel led by the Spirit,
Just roll around.
just fucking roll around, man. Have a good time.
I love that.
You know? So I think these lyrics to me are, I mean, you kind of mentioned it. It's setting up like a scene in a Pentecostal church. Like, I didn't grow up in one, but I grew up in the Baptist church. I had friends that were Pentecostal.
And they had like all these just tattered clothing from rolling around on the ground all the time.
Yeah, just like dirty clothes.
Oh,
tattered
Rigel, you got
clothes.
another hole in your coat.
Sorry, I was rolling around.
I was rolling around with the pastor man. So as the leader falls to the ground is why I assume was the Pentecostal church, because like there's times where, and you watch these clips, I'll show some to you later, where people are like overcome overcome by the Holy Spirit, or so they say. I think it's acting, but they're like so overcome that they faint or they fall to the ground and start crying and wailing and shit. So to me, those first 4 lines of this verse are just setting the stage of like where we are. It's all about church.
Okay.
Great. Moving on. Please, Mr. Prophet Man, tell me which way to go. I gave my last $1. Can I still come to your show?
Yeah, this one, my note here was just kind of got the overall impression that he's sort of trying to say that religion now isn't being just about faith like it should be, but it's like sort of tied to consumerism and politics and people using it to advance their own private interest. The image of him giving his last $1, like, you know, he's giving everything he has faith-wise and monetary-wise to the church in order to be salvaged, or that sounds wrong.
For salvation? Not salvaged.
Yeah,
It's not a fucking car.
he's trying to get some new parts. And can I still come to your show makes it seem like there's a barrier to entry to be saved, or like to be faithful, when as faith should be something that's accessible to everybody. That's kind of what I got. And I think that also ties in the collection plate thing too, which is like that you have to give all this crap to be an accepted member of your church and to feel faithful, when faith should be coming from within.
Yeah, within your wallet. Yeah.
Do collection plates accept Venmo?
Probably now. They should.
Cool.
Like, wouldn't they be dumb if they just didn't have the QR code at the bottom of the plate or on the rim of the plate? Like,
yeah,
cool, you don't have cash? Here you go.
Now you can really never get out of it.
Yeah.
But you're not supposed to have your phone on in services.
Says who? God?
I would assume so. Or
Mr. Preacher Man?
Or the Prophet Man.
Mr. Prophet Man. Speaking of, I think these lines, I think this whole verse is a little bit like pokey at the church itself.
Pokemon?
No, not Pokemon.
Sorry.
Pokewoman. That was bad.
Yeah. Just continue with
the cut that out?
Analysis. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it in.
Okay. Yeah. I think these 4 lines starting with, please, Mr. Prophet Man, tell me which way to go. I think he's this verse is a dig at the church to me. Because like to say Mr. Prophet Man seems so sarcastic and like, I mean, it'd be like calling a stand-up comedian like, oh, hey, Mr. Comic Man.
If someone called me that, I'd be like, thanks for coming to the show.
Yeah, but you don't call pastor that.
That's fair.
Like, hey, Mr. Prophet Man. That just, I don't know. To me, it comes off as sarcastic. And then he refers to this church service as a show, which it shouldn't be.
Right.
It shouldn't be. It should be people connecting with their faith in whatever way they want. But that's why I think he's criticizing. I think he's like, dude, you're doing your thing. You're rolling around on the ground. Like, this is all a show. And like,
Rigel, don't ruin another coat.
Why is his name Rigel?
I don't know. I picked a name. We just bought that from Macy's.
Boy, how old is Rigel?
13.
Oh, Rigel. He doesn't know any better.
He's having fun rolling around.
Having fun, man. Rigel. Gave my last $1, I think, is significant too. Because a lot of people do pour a lot of money into the church, which, like you said, they shouldn't have to. It should be about what's in your heart. I think a lot of people pour money into a church and never really have anything to show for it. So I think he's saying like, hey man, I've already given you so much. Like, even if I don't have anything, am I still allowed to be here?
Yeah.
That's why I think the whole thing is just like, hey man, America is fucked up in the first verse, and the second verse, even church is fucked up.
Yeah.
Like how we're approaching religion and worship and respect for other people who are trying to do that.
That's smart.
Thanks.
Yeah. No, I hear you. That makes sense.
Also, this song is like 27 years old.
Yes.
Which, like,
that's how old I am.
It's pretty crazy that he's writing about things and like we're still dealing with all this stuff.
For sure.
Like nothing really changes.
Yeah, that is.
Like,
I had that thought too.
we still have that like division of people who like think America's fucked and that everything's over sexualized. It's like, it's not new, man. Someone wrote about this in the late 90s.
Yeah,
And I'm sure even before that in other songs, but
same shit, different day.
Yep.
Now these next set of lyrics I think are super telling.
The bridge.
Yeah, where he says, "In America, oh oh." I said, "Oh oh oh." I said, "Oh oh oh."
Yep. What do you think he means by that?
The one note I wrote down here is that this is like so Creed. To be like, I said, yeah, oh, 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 yeah, which I love. I do like the bridge. And I just feel like, I mean, obviously it's a space for like the musicality of the song to be showcased while still getting a little bit of Scotty's lyrics. So I don't think there's really any meaning here other than like, it's affecting him.
I agree. I think it's just his vocal expression of angst.
Yes.
So moving in to the next different lyrics, we have, I am right and you are wrong. I am right and you are wrong. I am right and you are wrong. No one's right and no one's wrong in America.
Yeah. So what I've written here, but I kind of see differently now, is that I feel like the first three lines, I am right and you are wrong, are like a summary of how people are communicating with each other, being like, everyone thinks they're right and the other person's wrong. Mm. And I think the last line is his resolution, like, no one's right and no one's wrong, you idiots. We just see the world differently. And then I think that gets to the fact that when we all fight and we all don't like see each other's points of view, we all lose, dude.
I actually really dig that. I did not think that, but like, essentially you're saying like Americans, I guess, are so like self-centered and ego driven that everyone just like, yep, this is about me. This is about me. I'm right. You're wrong.
Exactly. And I think that's really easy with faith too, because if you've grown up your whole life observing your faith and you're, faithful to your faith, you're
lots of faith.
Yeah. Yep. You're going to be ingrained in it to the fact where you think that yours is right and that can come at the cost maybe of disrespecting people who live differently or observe other faiths.
I like that. It's not quite my interpretation, but I actually really like that.
What's your interpretation, idiot?
I am pretty dumb. I'm so dumb.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Say it.
So I actually think this part of the song is like false bravado and kind of sarcasm. He's just kind of been poking at the church, and I think it's a continuation of that. So he repeats that he is right and you are wrong, the listener, 3 times. But then it's like really hammering it home, and then it's like, nah, fuck it. No one knows anything. Like, we're all just running around with our heads cut off. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, no one's right, no one's wrong. And if you want to go even deeper, I think you could take it to mean that like there's no moral compass in America anymore. Like, we've fully lost our way. And if there's no right and no wrong, like, you have chaos, and eventually it's a society that will crumble.
I like that too. Yeah, I could see how at the end, after he says all that, he's just like kind of given up, where he's like, no one's right, no one's wrong, we're fucked.
Yeah. Which I totally see what you're saying too, but to me, it does read as like dude, fuck it. Nope. There's no truth. Like, no one knows anything. We're all fucked. In America. In America. In America.
In America.
In America. Yeah. I have another question for you.
Yes.
Why are you actively working against U.S. intelligence agencies, and what country will you be representing in the next Olympic Games to officially announce your traitordom to the United States of America?
Yeah, so my work with the anti-U.S. intelligence agencies began when I was 15, and my mom gave me a hot dog. And she said, you can have it, but you should know that this contains a lot of ingredients that may hurt your health in the future. So I thought, I don't want to live in a country where, I know I thought this previously in the previous stories I mentioned, but this is where it really hit home. And all that goes to say that in this next upcoming 2024 Olympics, I will be playing table tennis for Czechoslovakia.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're an Olympic athlete. I'm sitting next to an Olympic athlete.
Hi.
But also that totally tracks the story with the hot dog. Like hot dogs are bad.
Yep.
And they're delicious.
And they're the most American thing.
Yeah, they are. Ironically.
That and apple pie, I guess.
And
The flag.
young children converting to communism.
That's a new trend.
Yeah. You started it.
Thank
One
you.
that you started.
Yeah.
Yep.
Follow me on TikTok for more communism trends.
Yeah. Oh, the NSA is definitely following you on TikTok.
That's fine.
Yep. Great. Okay. Well, all we really have left is because there's another chorus and then the outro.
Yep.
In the outro, it's just in America. What is right for you and me in America?
So for this one, I just thought it kind of harkens back to no one's right and no one's wrong, and that there are no right answers for what's right for you and me because we're different people and we live our lives in different ways, and what brings us joy and what makes us feel fulfilled isn't going to be necessarily same from person to person.
Because we're a melting pot.
Yeah, we're like fondue.
Yeah, we're a melting pot of patriots like me, communists, Marxists like you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. This song, once I like broke the lyrics down, especially the outro, I'm like, he's putting an exclamation point on like trying to drag everyone else into his uncertainty about like, oh fuck, man, maybe this place isn't that great.
Well, that's kind of the point of music, right? And sticking it to the man.
Yeah. But also like, well, let's go through. Let's talk about the song overall now. So
Okay.
Going through the lyrics. I think that while there is a lot to criticize about our country, for sure, I don't think sexuality and abortion and money are themselves the problem. I think that's glossing over like, man, everyone's got to have personal responsibility and self-control and like accountability to themselves and their family or business partner, employer, employee, whatever. Like, I don't necessarily like the demonizing of like women having access to healthcare and that can be life-saving and just like sexuality, like fucking control yourselves, people.
I disagree. I think sexuality is the thing that's harming our children the most, and that there should be dress codes instituted for not just every private institution, but for everybody living in this country.
For me?
Yeah, for you too.
Dude,
cover up.
No. What, dude,
Cover it up.
You play for Czechoslovakia now anyway, so I don't...
Yeah, I got to wear a full-blown tracksuit everywhere I go.
Honestly, that's like a pretty communist thing to want, for everybody to have to dress the same.
I'm not a communist.
Wow, dude.
No, but yeah, I hear you. I don't know that he's saying that those are the root problems of the United States, but rather that they're like a result of the society in which we live. And I think the reason he's pointing out those particular things as being like problematic to him is because I think, the overall thing is that like we're living faithlessly.
Yeah, I agree with that part. And I think to me, it's like we're the ones responsible. We've elevated those things to God-like status. Like there's people that are 100% slave and worship money.
Money.
So, let's make some money.
Where's the money, Hobbit says?
So I think those are also things though that like make America great.
Okay.
Because no, listen, hear me out. Would you rather be America or a country without reproductive care? America or a third world country with no real economy to speak of? Like, I think, yes, we've got our problems, but I just think it's a little bit over demonization and oversimplification of the things that we as a society have kind of elevated. But I don't think they're all bad. Like, am I crazy?
No, I don't think so. And I don't know. I guess it's hard for me to listen to a song like this at the first few times at least, and not like immediately put my worldview on it. So, which is like how I interpreted the lyrics, like what I talked about earlier about like sexuality being democracy, which is like, yeah, I agree with that. Like, based on my interpretation, like the government shouldn't have a control over how people live their private lives in that way.
Stop being so sexy, government.
Yeah.
Three branches. Yeah, turn me on a little more.
All right, sicko. Which is the hottest?
The hottest? Judicial, dude.
Legislative.
What's going on under those robes?
Old wrinkly bodies.
Yeah. Fucking hound dog. Those wrinkly bodies, man.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I agree. I think he's trying to say that the faithlessness is making our country shitty, and I don't think that's necessarily true, but maybe that's how he views it as a man of faith.
Yeah. One chat board user kind of agrees with you on that, and Scott. This is a comment from 2003.
That was, oh man, 2003?
2003.
That's the year, that was the year I had my bar mitzvah.
This anonymous on this message board said,
I was 13.
Said, Scott Stapp is talking about how the problems of America can lead one to lose faith in society, government, and authority in general. Scott talks about greed, abortion, and how easy it is to lose your direction and abandon your values when tempted by the dark side.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's accurate.
I think it's a good summary. I think my whole issue with the song, I'm realizing now, is that I think it stops short.
Yeah.
Because who is, say that dark side is there that people are tempted by. Ultimately, it's still our responsibility to manage that temptation.
Like the people.
Even as individuals. Just
Clearly,
individual responsibility, man.
Clearly, Reed, you've never watched The Purge.
Do
you know what happens when there's no laws and people are left to their own devices?
Yeah, they murder everyone.
Yeah.
But they also make really impenetrable houses, which what a thing. What a thing to have.
I guess so.
You know? And it lets people who just like killing and like blowing things up have a day to do it.
I feel like your central air bill would be really high in a house like that, though.
But only for one day a year.
What a crazy movie idea.
I love those movies, actually.
I haven't seen any of them.
America.
The Purge is like the most American thing.
How was
even
this?
More than hot dogs.
I agree. And I was wondering how was this song not in any of those films?
Would they have fit? I haven't seen them.
Yes.
Or would it have fit? Sorry.
Can you imagine the chorus playing as like some dude walks down the street in slow motion with a machete in one hand and a AK in the other, and it's like, what is right or wrong? I don't know who. I'm walking in slow motion for people who are just listening.
It could be like a funny juxtaposition. I just feel like the song isn't as like ominous as those movies, but like it could work if you put it in the right position.
That's what she said.
Yep.
Any final thoughts on this one? I know this one was it's not as well known of a song. Not a lot of info about it. Not a lot of info from the band about it. But any final thoughts before I get your score from you?
Overall, I think this is a song that doesn't stand out, but it's also, I feel really similarly about this song as I do to Pity for a Dime, in that they're both like, okay, they're not my favorite. And they also both sort of feel like really grounded in like stuff actually happening in the world. Whereas like, I talked about it last time stupidly about how like the illusion and the imagery of a dime in Pity for a Dime and like a very real sort of phrase like that makes me feel like taken out of an experience. And I feel similarly about songs that are like clearly have an agenda, like a political agenda about them. Whether I agree with that agenda or disagree with that agenda, I just feel like, like, I guess I don't like being preached to in that way. Mm-hmm. Again, even if I agree, it just kind of feels like a little inherently corny to me. Especially when the lyrics are very on the nose. I just feel like, okay, like, what are you just like reading me a petition in song form? But that said, I do like I really like the bridge and the guitar. Well, like always, it opens with a really kind of dope Tremonti riff. So yeah, I don't know. Those are kind of my final thoughts.
I'm with you. This song is a very on the nose for me.
Yeah.
It's like very direct. I think you don't have to drill down too far.
Yeah.
Like to find meaning, I think. Like, I don't think there were any lines in this one where either of us were like, I have no clue.
Don't know what that means.
Too abstract. Like, even the dum-dums like us, even festering communists like Andrew can understand this song.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why. I guess that, I don't want to say bugs me, but like I don't appreciate it as much. I guess, I don't know. I guess it harkens back to the feeling preached too, or like that it wasn't thought out enough that I have to like really think about it. It just sort of feels like you're yelling this at me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah,
as far as the preaching goes too, I think it a little bit comes with the territory with Creed. They are definitely trying to deliver some messages.
Yeah,
it's just this song is very plainly spoken. Yeah, it's like, hey, the first 4 songs were for the adults, but gather round, kids. This song about abortion and sex, it's for you. You're gonna understand this.
You know that country we live in called America? Well, that's what this is about.
Let's fucking go, America. I like America.
You know what really was a pet peeve of mine?
What's that?
It's not really a pet peeve, but like I remember like my Spanish teacher told me about it when I was like in 5th grade or something. Just like that, like we shouldn't refer to our country as America because there are other Americas. So I always refer to our country as the United States.
Okay. I mean, that's true. But like, come on.
So like, I don't know if she was like a word that's commonly used, but like we'd refer to like people that live in the United States in Spanish as like I don't remember, estadounidenses or something.
Estados Unidos?
No, that's the United States. But like people that, you know how you're like, you're from Nicaragua, you're like Nicaraguan.
Yeah.
So I was like, you're not American because that could mean you're from South America. So you're estadounidense. I think that I'm remembering that wrong.
I mean, yeah, okay. That's technically correct. She is right. Mm-hmm. Your teacher was right.
I'm smart.
You're right. But it's also like saying, me saying I'm eating
don't say hot dog.
A hamburger.
Thank God.
And I'll switch it up. No. Eating a hamburger because I'm not a communist. And you being like, well, but this is also a hamburger and it's got avocado and bacon on it and yours doesn't. So you can't call yours just hamburger. You should call it a cheeseburger because that's what's on it.
I stand by that.
Does that track at all?
Yeah.
I don't even know if that made sense to me.
I kind of get it. It's not like apples to apples. That was definitely like apples to
hamburgers
dragon
to hamburgers. Fruits. Whatever. Analogy complete.
Okay.
Bro. So I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
To close. 1, and you can think about this for a second, is on a scale of 1 to 5. How many yas are you giving this? And while you're formulating that, I want you to look America in the face and just tell them why you hate the country that we all live in.
Okay.
So much.
Okay.
Why do you have such a vile, just vitriol brewing in your stomach that is just so anti everything that we stand for?
Okay.
Thank you.
First, I'll start with the song.
Great.
It's hard because, like I said, it's really similarly situated a Pity for a Dime for me, where I like, it's okay. Like, I'm not going to skip it, but I'm not like super juiced to hear it. But if I'm comparing them, I gave that one a 3. And I think I like this one just a little bit less.
Right.
Because, I don't know, the repetition of In America to me is where I get kind of lost. I'm like, yeah, like, I get it. But there are some really cool moments there and some really good ripping chords. So I'm going to end up giving this a 2.75 yes.
Okay. I mean, that's respectable.
Yeah, it's not a terrible score.
That's respectable.
And then as for the other part, why I hate the United States so very much
Here we go.
is just red and blue are such bold colors that they don't go together well. Like, you couldn't thought of anything that would like be complement each other a little better. Two primary colors. Plus, Alaska is like bigger than the majority of the country.
That is a good reason to hate a country. So one part of it is exceptionally
It's
large.
too big.
Too big.
And it's so hard to get to. It's far away.
Are you saying that we should kick Alaska out of the United States?
I think it should go back to being Canada, which it may or may not have ever been. But I trust the Canadians with it.
I do too. Don't fact check us on Alaska once being a part of Canada.
It was for sure Canada.
But what was it before it was United States?
The Mason-Dixon line.
That's true. Yep. Okay, so I have lived south.
You haven't lived in
okay, no, I
Alaska.
haven't. Okay, well, I hope that you've learned something about yourself today. I hope that you will really think about
Hot dogs.
and baseball and,
The great United States pastime.
yeah. And just from sea to shining sea, man. Like,
Atlantic and the Pacific.
we got it pretty good. We got it pretty good.
What would you rate the song, Reed?
I would rate it a 1.5.
Wow. Are you serial right now?
I am serial. And I'm not like, I know that sounds pretty.
Your scale flips and flops so hard, dude.
That sounds pretty harsh.
No, if you don't.
I just don't think it doesn't have the depth of a normal Creed song for me. And like I said, I think musically I enjoy it. I think the message falls a little short for me. Because again, I think you want to talk about these problems, cool. But like let's freaking drill down, man, into people. Like, why have we elevated these things? We're just saying like, oh, we're slaves to money and sexuality, and the church might be playing a part in that because it might be a little bit fucked up too. But like, what about me? What am I doing to make this better or worse? What are you doing to make this place better or worse?
Man, you're making me rethink my score.
Don't.
Because I don't.
Don't.
I also don't like. I'm not. I think it's probably maybe my least favorite song on this album.
It might be for me too.
So-
Which is why I wanted to go 1.5.
Which is but I also don't think like some of the other ones that are better are like necessarily like that much better. So that's why I feel like I left myself inexplicable amount of room.
Well, here, why don't you do this?
Yes.
You motherfucking communist. Take
Okay.
your 2.75 and redistribute some of that to another song
That's
in
too
the
much
future.
work.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you want to scale it down,
I kind of want to give it like a 2.
great. The communist the Russian judge has scored the song a 2.
No, we established from Czechoslovakia.
Oh yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
Wait, but are they communist? It's not even a country anymore, is it?
That's what I'm worried about. I don't think
Isn't
it is.
it's the Czech Republic now,
I think so.
or it's Bosnia and Herzegovina?
Let's just like
We gotta go.
Yeah.
we gotta go.
I'll just say I was actually from like Australia.
Okay. Yeah, Ripper.
So I love doing Australian accents, even though I'm probably terrible at it.
Go Dolphins.
Long story. Well, Reed, is there anything else you want to get in before we close this bad boy out?
I wanna close it. I wanna close it and start looking towards the next one.
I'm
This
looking
one
forward.
was a fun one too. Honestly, it was different to go through, which I appreciated because it was so straightforward.
Dealt with the different themes this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dug the process of like looking into it and really combing through the lyrics carefully. Even though I don't rate the song that highly.
Did you dig the process of looking into it because it didn't take that long because there's nothing on it?
Part of it, yeah. I'm a busy guy.
That's fair.
Pretty busy guy. I got lots of stuffs to do.
Well, Reed, with all that discussed, I think it's time we make our escape. For my own podcast, I'm Andrew Colin.
I am Reid Fenlaw.
Bye.
See ya.